Hello you guys, it's Ruthie. Well, it's really looking like there might not be any vlog this week because I've been really busy, and I do encourage you to check out my short video on Dutch vanitas paintings. That's taken most of the last 2 weeks. So what I thought I'd do is I thought I'd just take you on my my little walk around the block, because then at least I'll have something to put up, because I'm quite proud of the fact I haven't skipped a vlog episode so far, and I don't really want this to be the first week I do, but all the same, I don't think it's going to be a very exciting one. So let's go for a little walk, shall we? And as we go down the garden path to the road, I see the first snowdrops out. So that's rather exciting, isn't it? Looking rather lonely and springish, and I'm hoping we're going to get a really good showing of bluebells. We certainly did last year. I love bluebells, and they last so well as a cut flower. Oh, and the Banksia will be coming out soon. The Banksia rose, that will be gorgeous. Oh, exciting! And look at that, more sign of spring coming. I love spring, although it's not much fun for my hay fever, but it's awfully pretty. And look at this. The perfect stick for me, but it's just out of reach. I need to bring a chair down here, I think. Pull that down. I want to make an old-fashioned broom like you see in a ballet. No, not a witch's broom, although I'm sure some people will say that. And it's just the right, it's just out of reach. I shall have to bring a chair next time, I think. Isn't that absolutely beautiful? It's just all popped out in blooms. Just in the last week, it was just all tight little buds. It's amazing how fast flowers in spring pop out, isn't it? Really marvellous. Some sort of wattle, no doubt. They have lovely wattles in this country. Actually, I suppose this is the home of the wattle. It's good. There was a little pink teddy bear stuffed up in that tree, and I deliberately left it alone for 3 weeks, which was pretty noble of me really, because it was pink. But I didn't want to nick some kid's little teddy bear, even though it would have made a marvellous story. After all, I don't really need the teddy bear to write a story about it, do I? And if I was a little 8-year-old and lost my teddy bear, I wouldn't like some overgrown child of a children's author to come along and kike it from the tree. Or, well, I hope it got reunited with its original owner, but anyway, I suppose if it went home with another nice little child, that's probably more appropriate than it going home with me. Although I dare say I would enjoy a small pink teddy bear every bit as much as an 8-year-old. But I am a peculiar case, as are most artists. Oh, look at this, you guys. Now, isn't that splendid? Gosh, look at that. Isn't that the most marvellous place for inserting a little door you ever saw in your life? It is, isn't it? It's marvellous. Anyway, I better stop talking to this tree because it's pick-up time for the kids, and I'm going to look awfully odd, aren't I? This is one of my favouriteest sort of trees in the whole world, because look at this. You can imagine all sorts of little doors being popped in there, and then you can imagine that being a lovely big window. And I just like the colour and the texture. I looked it up, it's a London plane, some kind of hybrid, but I can't remember of what. And I have a whole story in my head about a family that runs away and builds a tree house in a London plane in the middle of the city park, and all the trouble that gives them. And I think that would be fun if I could just find the time to do it. I like this little path. It looks like something from a storybook. Of course, because it's Australia, even as spring will be coming upon us soon, we haven't quite finished losing all the autumn leaves of this lovely big oak tree. Such is the confused state of down under. And look at these lovely big fat acorns. I just love acorns. I've got a bit of a thing for them actually. Anyway, time to go home, I think. And I know it sounds completely nutty, but I think I'm going to make myself some mango ice cream and eat it in front of the fire and read a book, just because I can. Talk to you soon. So last week I showed you this stormy scene from the top balcony and I said, who do you think would paint it best? And I thought maybe Turner could handle it because of the light, but my very, very special friend, Marion Gradko, suggested a couple of artists. The first one she suggested was Al Greco. Oh, you guys, I'm so glad she suggested that. Marion, I'm so glad you suggested him because I know about Al Greco, but here's where I got the shock. I knew about Al Greco in the sense that if you said the name to me, my mind would pull up images. So I had a pretty good idea of what he looked like. But when I went to get this picture to pop in my vlog to show you what a clever painter it was for who would paint the sky best, I almost fell off my swivelly chair. I cannot believe he was painting in the 1500s. Like, I was absolutely shocked because if you'd said to me, do you know what Al Greco looks like? I would have said, yep. Yeah. Well, I don't know what the painter looks like, but I know what his paintings look like. And then if you said to me, oh, and when was he painting? I would have said, judging on the style, late 1800s, at the oldest, and honestly, I think I would have gone for early 1920s. It's just so modern. Oh, wow. Talk about being ahead of your times. So thank you, Marion. I learned a lot, and maybe my next obsession is going to be Al Greco or... Well, I need it to be something happier because Mum came down the other day and she's like, are you all right? And I was like, no, I'm rather sad. And she said, oh, well, you have been doing a lot of creative work. And I said, I think it's because I've been reading Ecclesiastes and looking at all these pictures of death. And Mum's like, yeah, that's pretty heavy. But, you know, the thing is you just have to remember that verse in the Bible written by his father, I think, which David says, this is our God and he shall guide us, yea, even in death. So there's not really anything to worry about if you know God and you trust him and you're seeking to get closer to him every day. I'm sure he sorts it out. Nevertheless, I think maybe I need some levity in my life. So I was so excited to find out that that's what Al Greco, that's when Al Greco was painting, the 1500s. That's amazing. That's so cool. Honestly, I thought he was modern. Oh, and the other one that Marion suggested was Winslow Homer, and that was such a good suggestion just because Winslow Homer is beautiful, and I had to go through a whole lot of photos to find ones that I thought sort of matched the sky, and that's another painter I knew about, absolutely adore. So thank you very, very much, Marion, and now I shall go and find something else to ask you who would paint it best, because I really enjoyed that game, and it's just the cheering thought I needed after my 2 weeks of Dutch Vernita's paintings and the Book of Ecclesiastes and all those thoughts on death. Okay, so here I am in the iris patch with my game, who would paint it best, and I'm going to say Van Gogh, or Van Gogh for our American friends. Do you know what? When we first moved to America, Mum was talking to this lady and they were talking about art, and she said, this American lady said to Mum, oh, do you like the masters? And I was like, oh, very much. And she said, you know, my favourite master is Van Gogh. And Mum was thinking, Mum said, she thought, well, I think I'm reasonably good at art history, but I've never heard of this Van Gogh chap. And then she realised it's just a case of tomato, and that he's Van Gogh over there, but he's definitely Van Gogh down here. Anyway, I know it's not particularly original to pick Van Gogh for irises, but I have a good excuse. I'm actually really obsessed with Van Gogh at the moment, ever since I found that painting of the open Bible open to Isaiah 53. I didn't really know that Van Gogh had any sort of religious leanings, but he must have, because you know what I think he did? It's because he actually bothered to open the Bible to somewhere that mattered to him, and that to me is quite interesting. But anyway, so I'm on a little bit of a Van Gogh kick at the moment, so when I see irises, I think Van Gogh, because it seems to me when he wasn't painting dead sunflowers, well, they were usually quite dead, weren't they? He was painting irises. But after the enormous success of last week's game, I'd be very interested in anyone else's opinion. Who do you think would paint an iris patch best? And you can always include children's illustrators too, you know, because I was thinking about it. They are definitely artists and they should not be excluded. So there you go. That's my iris patch coming up nicely. And I say Van Gogh or Van Gogh, depending on where you are. Well, there's my homemade mango ice cream, which is so simple. It's essentially just a thick smoothie made out of frozen mango pieces, which I allow to soften. And I add just enough soy milk to turn it into this delicious soft serve texture. You can see it's actually really good. And then I put smash up a few dates through the blender to give it a bit of chewiness, and then I like to top it off with nuts. And as you can see, it's about the consistency of a soft serve ice cream, but it has no dairy or cane sugar in it, so perfect for the health conscious out there, and also those of you that aren't the biggest fans of cooking. I'll try and put the recipe down in the comments section, the description of the video, because I don't really think it warrants its own recipe. It is so simple, but it's my 4-ingredient ice cream and it's pretty delicious. No, 5. I forgot the vanilla essence. Anyway, that has been the daily doings at Rosebank House. Thank you so much for joining us. As ever, we have thoroughly enjoyed your company, and I hope you have a beautiful weekend. In fact, we all wish you a beautiful weekend from the team at Zealous Publishing in Rosebank House. That's me, Mum, Dad, and just the house lion, because since Stinkin' Sheila did a little activity in one room and Jasper did a large activity in the other room, and I don't think we need to get too detailed while we're looking at food, but those of you who are wise to the ways of animals will know exactly what I'm talking about. They have been exiled, so it's just me, Mum, Dad, and the cat who has been potty trained. Anyway, that's all from us at Zealous Publishing this week. Have a lovely week, and remember, if the world turns dark, turn your home into a lamp. Bye-bye.